Good evening, my friends. So just let the singing bowl just wash over you, clearing the energy of the day, centering you for the rest of your evening. This is the pretty purple singing bowl. Love this bowl. Hi, everyone. How is everybody tonight? It suddenly became overnight. It became boot season. That's my favorite thing. So I hope you're enjoying these beautiful days. And welcome to Tuesday nights, Tea and Stones. I'm Rihanna, the Stone Maven here at the Dreaming Goddess. And I decided to talk to you all tonight about a stone that's a little complicated. Oh, good, Jamie. I'm glad. The singing bowl really is beautiful. It's really a lovely thing at the end of the day, especially if you've had a day filled with lots of energy. You know, the singing bowl just kind of levels y'all out. It's like, okay, let's begin our evening again. You know, over. Let's start the day over again. Because for me, when I finally get home, I get to start my personal day, right? My personal time. So I hope that I am ringing you in to your personal time, into your time after work or just your quiet time. All right, so I chose to talk about onyx tonight because I have a bunch of onyx things and I needed to do some research about it. And it was really a complicated experience for me. Now, I'm going to try and make it not so complicated for you because I know a lot of you, you don't need to have all the scientific information. But for me as the buyer, it's really important for me to be sure I'm getting you what I really think I'm getting you. And onyx is one of those that's super hard. I actually spent some time on the phone today with one of my stone dealers because I was like, what did you sell me? Because it doesn't look like anything in the books. I got little bugs flying around and shit. And maybe they're little fairies. So I dove into onyx. And it is a deep cavern of mystery on many levels. So, where to begin? Let's start off by most of onyx that we talk about is black onyx. And I have a sad thing to tell you, is that most black onyx is dyed. Not all of it. Now, when I was a teenager, which feels like a lifetime ago, I wore only black onyx. And so that was 35 years ago, you know, maybe longer. But anyway, but 30 years ago, you know, what, 30? Yeah, I was 17 30 years ago, if I'm 57 now, right? So, you know, 30 years ago, 35 years ago, yeah, only could wear black onyx. It's all I wanted to wear. And I don't know, was it dyed? I'm not sure. And yeah, it's true. So I don't know, but I know that it brought me great comfort as a teenager who was really struggling to find my way, struggling to understand myself, struggling to understand how I fit into the world and how I didn't fit into the world and all those things. I grew up in the late 70s, early 80s, lots of confusion, lots of odd things happening. So it was an off time and I was struggling with my own inner demons. And anyway, I found black onyx to be comforting to me. Now I understand that a lot better and why I was attracted to that. So, okay, mostly dyed, but black onyx onyx is a word that they use to describe stones that are parallel banded. All right, that's the beginning. Parallel banded as compared to agate, like we have crazy lace agate, we have blue lace agate, carnelian is a chalcedony. No, we won't include that. So think about crazy agate and blue lace agate, where it is also banded. Botswana agate, the gray agates, but they are all curvy and wild, and this is how their banding goes, right? But onyx, the banding is parallel, okay? So an agate, onyx is not an agate, but onyx is chalcedony. So chalcedony is the family, chalcedony, where most of us would think about chalcedony as being that blue, kind of translucent, blue calming stone, kind of milky blue. Well, chalcedony is also part of agate. I mean, chalcedony is such a wide variety of stones. So this is where it kind of gets a little complicated in understanding, and I won't bore you with all that information, but it is interesting information, and you should have your pencil and pens out, your pencil and paper. So chalcedony is the family name, the top name, chalcedony. Underneath chalcedony, there's so many stones. Agate is one of them, and onyx is another. So chalcedony is a quartz, but it's microcrystalline quartz. It's little teeny pieces of quartz together in a massive form. So black onyx, when you find black onyx in nature, it is white and black banded. Now, so our black onyx, let me show you a piece. You can see in this piece, it has a little bit of white. These are not banded onyx pieces, but you can see they're not completely black. It's not like obsidian. Obsidian is just black glass like, okay? There's no crystalline structure or anything, but in onyx there is a crystalline structure because it's got silicate in it. So it is got crystal in it. These are not dyed, but they're not that fine quality black onyx that has the clear white bands in it. But you can see it has the white in it. Sardonyx is another type of onyx, and sard means red. So when onyx has bands of red and brown, they call it sardonyx, like this. Or this is a good example. There's a little thin band. There you go, a little thin band of red in that piece. Oh, here's another good one. So sardonyx, which is onyx with red in it. So if you took the red out of this piece, that would be just onyx. That's what we think of as black onyx. So there's no pure black onyx. Black onyx is a black and white stone, actually. And when you have a pure black, which is very, very rare, it is dyed. Let me read you this funny thing. Oops. So, in the 1st century, a naturalist called Pliny the Elder, Pliny, Pliny the Elder, described the techniques of dyeing onyx in Roman times. So this is what he says. Treatments for producing black and other colors include soaking and boiling chalcedony in sugar solutions, then treating with sulfuric or hydrochloric acid to carbonized sugars which had been absorbed in the top layers of the stone. So that's an interesting thing. Don't try that at home. And so it says these techniques are still used to create black onyx. They also can heat treat them with nitric acid. Oh, blah, blah. All right, so they can do that. So they have been doing it for centuries. They've been dyeing onyx to have it be pure colors. And they do it with boiling chalcedony in sugar solutions. That's funny, right? All right, so it's very common. All right, so let's talk about onyx, black and white banded onyx, which is what it is naturally. But black onyx carries, that was a good catch. You didn't see it, but I caught both of them. So the black onyx, which is got white in its matrix somewhere, is what I'm going to tell you a little bit about tonight, now that I've covered some bizarre background, right, about its categories. So, in ancient times, black onyx was considered very, very negative, and that in China, it was so feared that it created negativity in your life that only the poorest class of people touched it. They mined it, the poorest people mined it, and then they shipped it out of the country. They carved it, didn't mind it, and got rid of it. They didn't even want it in their country, which is interesting. So, in present day, we have figured out how to really work with that energy. So the black is about those dark nights and those lonely times that are filled with mystery. And when we sink into ourselves, oh, so funny, Christine, my high school ring was black onyx, because I could do nothing but black onyx. And like I said, I understand that now, why I could only wear black onyx, because I was really trying to figure myself out. And so in that dark night that I was having in that time, and in those very lonely places, when we sink into those places with black onyx as our friend, or sardonyx as our friend, as our stone ally, they support us moving into the future. They support us facing our fears, facing those negative patterns, because they do bring them out. They bring them out in a way so that we can balance them. So the black is the night, that dark, calm, quiet of the night that we can sink into. And the white is the day, is the light. And you can't have the light without the dark, because light comes from the dark. The magical times have always been the in-between and in-betwixt, where is it morning or is it night? Is it evening or is it day? It's that sunset and sunrise. And so it's when we can sink into that dark time, that is when we can really see what we're made of. What is our inner reflective? What is at the inner depths of who we are? It is a fabulous journey tool. So on a whole nother thing, when we sleep, most of us sleep at night, most animals sleep at night, and that is when we are restored. That is when we rejuvenate our energies, when we tap into the magnetic field of the earth, and we juice ourselves back up, and we get up and we do it all over. So black stones support us in getting back in touch with that, to rejuvenate ourselves. So it is a source of strength. It is a source of self-mastery. When we can conquer our fears, when we can tap into the depths of our souls, not what's reflected out in the world, not what the world expects from us or what the world thinks of us, but when we sink in, what is our soul made out of, which is magic. It's our highest potential. So when we can find our way into the depths of our soul, connected to our highest self, to source energy, that is when we move forward. That is when we blossom. That is when we can really connect to what our destiny is. It's a complicated stone. It's not a stone for everyone, much like black obsidian, though the black obsidian is a much harder. The black obsidian has no, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't go easy. You just dive in. Where the onyx has the balancing of the white. It has two. It can soothe. The white can bring in that balance and soothe us in connecting to our higher power. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's intense. It's an intense stone. It is also a stone that's very grounding. Black onyx, sardonyx, grounding stone, helps us to get into our physical body, helps us to feel like we can find our place that we belong. Right? It can bring us down into our roots. Again, who are we really? What are we really made of? And that's how we find our strengths. We don't find our strengths when life is easy. We don't find our strengths randomly. We build character and find our strengths when we are going through hard times. Like, 2020, I think we've all had the opportunity to really find out what we're made of, and we continue to find that out. So again, black onyx has lots of negative stories about it, and when we transmute those stories, just like we transmute our own negative stories, we then can really harness the power of the darkness. Right? And we're moving into the dark time of the year that's really hard for some people. So embracing the black stones and the energy of the black stones can really support us finding out our own strengths, our own what's the word? Our own chutzpah, our own bravada. Let me show you this stone. So this is the stone that really made me call my stone guy back. Well, isn't that beautiful? So I'm going to have this on my live on Thursday. He called it zebra onyx. Now, when I called him, that's when we had this good conversation about onyx and bandings and chalcedony and all kinds of things. So a lot of things are mislabeled as onyx, and they are really banded calcites. They're really alabaster. They're other things. So when I looked at this, I said to him, it looks like it has moonstone in it. It looks like it has this. And he said, well, not really quite sure. So I got to tell you, I'm not really quite sure. But he said, no, this is a zebra onyx, a banded onyx, and you can see it's not crazy. It's just layers of black and white. So we're going to call this zebra onyx. What it really is, I can't guarantee, but it's freaking gorgeous. I have it in big free forms. But look, see that little white spot right there? Yes, agates are chalcedony, which is an onyx, so it's quartz. Yes, this could be. I don't know. I have it in palm stones. I have it in all kinds of stuff. This is, I'm going to go with, this is a banded onyx. They called it, this again, a different stone person, and they didn't know what it was, and they called it zebra opal, which doesn't exist. Then I looked, whatever. So it's hard. Sometimes being the stone buyer, it's hard for me because sometimes I believe them and then I get home and I go, oh my God, that's not what this is. But I try my best. But this is onyx. This is a green and brown onyx. And this this type of onyx, we've all seen this. It comes, I love the mortar and pestle out of that. And then we've got these little vases, bigger vases. And this is an onyx. This is an onyx that I feel familiar with. They make lights. They do all kinds of beautiful things with that onyx. And onyx, like I said, comes in lots of colors. That's not dyed. And that comes from India. It comes from Mexico. And this is a very calming green. The green and brown is very heart-centered, easy to be with. It's more decorative than anything else, but it's very beautiful. It's very pretty to have in your house. Those are going to be on my live also. But the green would be connected to your heart. So soothing energies. What else do I want to tell you? So we do have our sardonyx and the black onyx on our website. It's easy to order. We have them both well in stock, and I'll have a bunch of varieties of this, whatever this might be, this banded onyx thing. We'll have these Thursday night. So I want to encourage you to break away from our negative thought processes and be willing to look at yourself. Really be brave and dig in, and don't fear the darkness. Don't fear what's in the shadows, because only from the darkness does the light come. And I'm going to leave you tonight with a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. When I was looking at the different onyx sites, one of them had quoted it, and I felt like it was very appropriate, as so did she. So, what you are afraid to do is a clear indication of the next thing you need to do. So I'm going to leave you with that. What you are afraid to do is a clear indication of the next thing you need to do. So be brave, step into the fear, have your stone allies with you as we break away from the patterns that have kept us stuck and kept us back from really tapping into our true potential. And I love you. I'm glad that you've joined me tonight. And, I'll see you tomorrow afternoon. I have no idea what I'm going to talk about tomorrow afternoon. And then I'll see you again on Thursday night at 6:30. If you have found that this video, this live has been informational and you've gotten some good info, please do share it, tag a friend, share the info. All right, I love you. I'll see you soon. That quote, thank you, Lauren, that quote is from Ralph Waldo Emerson. All right, have a great night. I'll see you soon.